Welcome to U.S. history. It's 1863. The United States is divided by war North against South, Union against Confederacy. But while the country fought over freedom and survival, another quiet battle was raging, a fight to control America's money. Before the Civil War, banking in the U.S. was like the Wild West. There were over 1,500 state-chartered banks, each printing its own paper notes. No two looked alike, and not all were worth the same. A dollar from a New York bank might be worth only 70 cents in Ohio. Counterfeiting was rampant. Confidence in money itself was crumbling. Then came the war, and with it, a financial crisis. The Union government needed massive funds to fight, but the old banking system couldn't handle it. Inflation soared, loans dried up, and gold reserves ran dangerously low. The nation's economy was falling apart just when it needed stability the most. Enter Salmon P. Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of the Treasury. He believed the solution was to create a national banking system, one that could unify the country financially, just as the war aimed to unify it politically. In 1863, Congress passed the National Banking Act, marking one of the most important financial reforms in American history. Here's how it worked. Banks could apply for a national charter directly from the federal government. In return, they had to buy U.S. Treasury bonds and deposit them with the government. Those bonds backed the paper currency the banks issued, national banknotes which all looked the same and carried the same value. For the first time ever, the U.S. had a standardized national currency. It was safer, more stable, and backed by the full faith of the Union government. It also gave Lincoln a powerful tool to finance the Civil War by tying the nation's banking system directly to the success of the federal government. But this reform didn't come without consequences. State banks, which had once dominated local economies, suddenly faced extinction. To encourage the shift toward national banks, Congress imposed a 10% tax on all state banknotes, making it nearly impossible for local institutions to compete. In small towns, this created tension. Local bankers, who had once been pillars of their communities, found themselves sidelined by distant federally controlled institutions. Farmers and small business owners worried that decisions about credit and loans were no longer made by neighbors, but by bureaucrats hundreds of miles away. The national banking system also introduced something new: federal oversight. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency was established to regulate national banks, enforce rules, and prevent the kind of chaos that had plagued the earlier system. Over time, the National Banking Act stabilized America's economy. It funded the Union victory, rebuilt trust in money, and laid the foundation for the modern banking network we use today. But it also revealed the deep divide between rural and urban America, a theme that would echo through U.S. history for generations. By the late 19th century, the system began to strain again. Without a central bank to act in emergencies, financial panics like the one in 1873 and later in 1907 showed its weaknesses. Those crises eventually led to the creation of the Federal Reserve System in 1913, the next major step in America's banking evolution. Still, it all began with that single act during the Civil War, the National Banking Act of 1863, a law born out of chaos that brought order to the nation's money. It unified the dollar, strengthened the Union, and proved that even in war, America could reinvent itself through innovation and reform. So when you hold a dollar bill today, remember its story began not on Wall Street, but on the battlefields of the Civil War. And behind every note there's the legacy of a nation that learned how to fight its wars and fund its future at the same time. And if you enjoyed learning about these forgotten heroes, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible stories from U.S. history.